I'm sure everyone watching this video will have seen a Renault car. It is one of the biggest car brands in the world. And there is no surprise that such a big car company would get involved in the biggest motorsport on the planet, Formula 1. So basically, this series is going to be in 3 parts. This video, which will be based on Renault's first stint in F1, which was between 1977 and 1985. Part 2 will be based on Renault's second stint between 2002 and 2010 and their engine success in Formula 1. Part 3 will be based on their second comeback to F1 in 2016 and talk about where they are now and their recent engine troubles. So, now let's get it stuck right into this video, the rise and fall of Renault F1 team, Part 1. In 1977, it was time for another big car manufacturer to enter Formula 1. This was Renault's first ever involvement in F1. They only entered the last 5 races of the 1977 season. Renault were the first team to use a turbocharged engine in F1. However, it proved highly unreliable and it became a bit of a joke, earning the nickname the Yellow Teapot, and failed to finish any of the 5 races entered despite it being very powerful. So, not to start the French team ideally wanted to F1. The following 1978 season was hardly better. A bad start with 4 consecutive retirements caused by blown engines. But near the end of the season, the team showed a bit of success, with a 4th place finish at Watkins Glen for one and only driver, Jean-Pierre Jabouille. They actually missed the first 2 races of the 1978 season, but returned for South Africa and qualified 6th. Yet again, though, another retirement. But in Monaco, Jabouille qualified 12th and finished 10th, giving the team their first finish. They came 12th that year in the Constructors out of 14 teams. Expanding to 2 drivers for the 1979 season, with Ren Arnaud joining Jabouille. The team continued to struggle, although Jabouille got pole position in South Africa. By mid-season, both drivers had ground effect cars, and at the French Grand Prix, the team locked out the front row in qualifying. Jabouille in pole and converting it into a race win, the first for Renault, and Arnaud came 3rd behind Gilles Villeneuve. There were a couple of more podium finishes in Silverstone and at the Watkins Glen. This time Renault jumped to 6th out of 12 teams on 26 points, with Arnaud racking up 17 and Jabouille with 9. A more successful year for the French team, I would say. Arnaud started off well in the 1980 season with wins in Brazil and South Africa, but Jabouille had problems with retirements. His only points finish was in Austria, where he actually won the race. Jabouille had a heavy crash at the Canadian Grand Prix and suffered serious leg injuries, effectively ending his career, though Renault finished an impressive 4th in the Constructors' title. Renault then signed promising young talent Alain Prost on a 3-year deal. The team won 3 races in 1981 at their home race in France, Netherlands and in Italy, with Prost winning all 3 and leading Renault to a strong 3rd place, only behind Brabham and Williams. 1982 would see them again come 3rd, a strong start to the season with the first 2 races being won by Prost, but the next 8 races they didn't pick up a single win and let their rivals catch them. Arnaud finally added to his winning tally with wins in France and Italy. Prost finishing 4th and Arnaud 6th. It was another solid season. Arnaud then left for Ferrari for the 1983 season and was then replaced by American Eddie Cheever. 1983 was Renault's strongest season with Alain Prost, finishing 2 points off the driver's title and Renault coming 2nd in the Constructors, 10 points behind winners Ferrari. Prost won 4 races that year, and if it wasn't for a fantastic finish to the season for Nelson Piquet, he might have had his first title in F1. Prost was however fired 2 days after the 1983 season, following comments about the team's lack of development of the Renault. He subsequently joined McLaren, while Cheever joined Alfa Romeo. The team turned to Patrick Tambay, who had left Ferrari, and Derek Warwick, who used to drive for Toleman. With no wins in either of the 1984 and 1985 season, it was definitely a bit of a fall from grace for the French team. The team finished 5th in 1984, and then 1985 finished even lower in 7th. While Prost went on to win 4 world titles with both McLaren and Williams, did Renault make a mistake and fire him? In 1985, major financial problems occurred for Renault, and they could no longer run their expensive Formula 1 team, so they pulled out of the 1986 season and only supplied engines until CEO George Bess pulled them out of the F1 completely after the 1986 season ended. That is the end of part 1 to the rise and fall of Renault. If you did like this video, make sure you smash that like button for part 2.